Itzhak Bentov, Mapping Consciousness Through Science and Spirit. Itzhak Bentov may not be a household name, but his contributions to our understanding of consciousness, the human body, and the universe put him in the company of some of the most visionary thinkers of the modern age. Czechoslovakian born inventor, engineer, and mystic, Bentov's work bridged the gap between science and spirituality at a time when few dared to cross that line. His books, Stalking the Wild Pendulum, On the Mechanics of Consciousness, and Brief Tour of Higher Consciousness, blend physics, physiology, and meditation into a cohesive picture of human experiences as part of a universal unfolding. Hi friends, I'm Scott, and I welcome you to be one with me as we journey together to be the best we can. I make content on expanded consciousness and spiritual solutions for the mind, body, and spirit. Today we're talking about Itzhak Bentov, and in his view, the body was not just a machine and a mind. It was not just a byproduct. The mind is not just a byproduct of brain chemistry. Instead, he argued that the human being is a finely tuned instrument, an antenna designed to perceive, interact with, and expand into the fabric of consciousness itself. What makes Bentov so fascinating is his ability to ground mystical experience in the language of science without stripping it of its wonder. He gave us models, analogies, and thought experiments that still resonate with seekers, meditators, and researchers today. In this video, we'll explore Bentov's key contributions, his model of the body as a resonant system, his theory of consciousness as vibration and oscillation, and his insight on meditation and vision of the human role in the cosmic, and in the cosmic process. Let's look at some reflections, practical applications, and exercises that translate his groundbreaking ideas into tools for daily practice. Bentov's journey into consciousness started not from a monastery or retreat, but from his background as an inventor and engineer. He looked at the human body through the lens of vibration and resonance and feedback loops. To him, the heart wasn't merely a pump, it was an oscillator. Each beat produced rhythmic waves that traveled through the blood vessels and the bones and tissues, creating standing waves, patterns of resonance that expanded the subtle energy field surrounding the body. He suggested that these vibrations could act as a radio transmitter, tuning us into states of awareness that go beyond ordinary perception. In meditation, when the body becomes still and the mind quiets, this resonant system stabilizes, and allowing consciousness to expand outward. Pause and feel your heartbeat. Notice how every pulse ripples through your body. If you just sit in silence, you can almost hear it, almost sense it, echoing, through your whole being. Bentov would say that what you're feeling is not just biology, it's physics and spirit intertwined. A carrier wave of awareness. Sit quietly for 5 minutes, simply observing your heartbeat. Place your hand lightly on your chest, or on your wrist, and imagine the pulse radiating like ripples in a pond, moving outward through your body and beyond into the space around you. Ask yourself, if my body is a transmitter, what signal am I broadcasting right now? Perhaps Bentov's most famous concept comes from Stalking the Wild Pendulum, where he describes consciousness as oscillation. Everything he argued vibrates between two states, being and non-being, from emptiness, manifestation, and potential. And this is the wild pendulum swinging between extremes at such speeds that our minds perceive continuity. Think of a light bulb. The electricity oscillates at like 60 cycles per second, but the filament glows so fast we see steady light. Similarly, Bentov believed our consciousness flickers in and out of physical reality countless times per second. What we call reality is really a rapid succession of moments stitched together, movie created by the oscillation of awareness. This idea not only mirrors ancient Eastern philosophies of impermanence, but also aligns with modern quantum physics and quantum theory, which shows that particles exist as probabilities until observed. Have you ever had a moment in meditation or even in daily life where time seemed to stop? Yeah. Maybe during a sunset or in the middle of a song that gave you chills. Bentov would say that in those moments, you briefly stepped into the space between the oscillations, the silence between beats where infinity peeks through. And, as you breathe, in, imagine your awareness appearing. And as you breathe out, imagine your awareness disappearing. Feel into the gap at the end of each breath. That silent pulse is the pendulum. It's the pendulum still point where you can taste the eternal. Bentov was deeply curious about what happens to the body and mind in meditation, using both scientific instruments and his own inner exploration. He mapped how stillness creates coherence in the body's oscillations. He suggested that regular meditation trains the nervous system to handle higher frequencies of vibration, allowing consciousness to expand, to expand beyond personal identity, into the collective and the cosmic realms. In a brief tour of higher consciousness, the book, he describes stages of awareness as if one were zooming out from Earth into space. At first you feel your body, and then you sense the room, the city, the planet, and eventually you experience yourself as part of the entire cosmos, a cell in the body of the universe. This view isn't just poetic, it's liberating. How much of your daily anxiety comes from being trapped in a tiny frame of reference? Your to-do list, your worries, your reputation. Imagine for a moment zooming out to see yourself as part of the planetary symphony. And suddenly the small irritations shrink, and a sense of belonging extends. You visualize yourself sitting in your room, and then expand your awareness to include your neighborhood. Keep expanding your, your city, your country, the Earth seen from space, and go further into the solar system, the galaxy, the infinite universe. Hold that, that image, and ask from this perspective, what really matters. One of Bentov's most daring ideas was that the universe itself is a vast, vast learning system. Just as a child grows in states and stages of consciousness and evolves through, individuals, societies, and entire civilizations. He proposed that human beings are part of the universe's sensing organs, experiencing itself through each thought and feeling and realization that we have. All of those contribute to the greater consciousness and of the cosmos. This idea aligns with mystical traditions that speak of God knowing itself through creation. But Bentov gave it a scientific twist. Evolution isn't just biological, it's informational. And every meditation, every moment of awareness adds data to the universe's unfolding and self-awareness. If this is true, then your personal growth is not personal at all. It's cosmic. Your struggles, your breakthroughs, your insights, they ripple outward into the collective. How does that change the way you see your own healing, and how you see your journey? The next time you meditate, dedicate it to the collective. Before you begin, say, may this moment of awareness ripple out into the greater consciousness for the benefit of the whole. Feel yourself connected to the billions of others who are also breathing, thinking, and evolving right now. What makes Bentov so unique is his refusal to choose between scientific rigor and spiritual wonder. He showed that we don't have to abandon logic to embrace mysticism, nor do you have to abandon awe to honor physics. In fact, the two together create a more complete picture, a more complete picture of reality. Today, as neuroscience explores meditation and quantum physics probes the nature of reality, Bentov's work feels prophetic. prophetic. Yeah. He anticipated a time when scientists and mystics would sit at the same table, comparing notes on the mysteries of existence. Yeah. Think about your own life, do you lean more towards logic, analysis, and proof, or toward intuition, faith, and mystery? What would it look like to let those two parts of yourself dance together instead of fighting? The next time you face a challenge, approach it twice. First, analyze it and look at it logically. What's the evidence, the data, the reasonable step? Then sit quietly and ask your intuition, what feels aligned? What does your inner voice whisper? Notice how the two perspectives complement each other. Bentov's life was tragically cut short in 1979 when he died in an airplane accident. Yet his ideas continue to inspire seekers, scientists, and spiritual teachers. His concepts of oscillation, resonance, and cosmic consciousness laid the groundwork for fields like biofeedback, heart-brain coherence, and the integration of physics with consciousness. That kind of research. For those of us walking the path of wholeness, Bentov offers both a map and an invitation. The map shows how the body, mind, and spirit are not separate, but aspects of one vibrational system. This invitation is to experiment, to sit in meditation, to feel resonance of our being, and to explore the oscillations of awareness and trust that our personal evolution is part of something unimaginably vast. Itzhak Bentov it reminds us that we are oscillating beings in a vibrating universe, antennas of awareness, transmitting and receiving, receiving the music of our existence, our breath, our heartbeat, our thoughts are all of it, all of it. It all contributes to the resonance of the whole. When we quiet ourselves, we don't step away from life, we step into its deepest current. So the next time you sit and meditate, remember Bentov's pendulum. Feel the swing between the being and the non-being. Rest in the silence between the beats of your heart. Know that in that stillness, you're touching the infinite, and doing so, you're helping the universe know itself. Like and share this video, and let me know in the comments about how you see the lessons, inspirations, or spiritual guidance in the works of Itzhak Bentov. And check that out. It's good stuff. Subscribe to this channel. More's coming from the heart for the soul. Check out one of these videos. And remember, a smile can make someone's day, and the right words may change their life. I love you. Be you, and be one with me.